UFC 249 just finished, and here's your full Mount MMA recap. During tonight's fights, George St. Pierre got put into the Hall of Fame to start off the early fights. Vicente Luque beat Nico Price with a TKO in the third round when the doctor had to stop the fight because of the bad cuts around Nico Price's eye. Mike Perry said damn savages, and Rod Sonia said this is some dark web fight to the death type stuff. Derek Lewis says he's okay. Chris Weidman says, wow, what a fight by both guys. Nico with so much heart. Kevin Lee posted a bunch of fire emojis, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson says, oh man, what a fight. Congrats Vicente Luque. Carla Esparza beat Michelle Waterson by split decision. Esparza is now on a 3-fight winning streak. Stephen Thompson reacted with a bunch of thinking face emojis. Angela Hill says, lol at the judges. Should be more draw rounds, especially when the fighters spend most of the fight 10 feet away from each other and Iran win. Said judging clearly hasn't improved since coronavirus. Alexei Oleinik beat Fabricio Werdum by split decision. This was Werdum's first fight back in the UFC since his knockout loss to Alexander Volkov in 2018. Anthony Pettis beat Donald Cerrone by everyone agreeing he won. Chris Weidman reacted saying, he would have felt better with a split decision, but great fight. Ben Askren says, hot sauce, you dumbass is calling me biased at its wins baby. Frankie Edgar posted great fight, and Jose Aldo says, how about Aldo versus Pettis too? Friends man, we put in a line. Oh, he hit me, I hit him. To kick off the main part, Greg Hardy beat Jorgen De Castro by everyone agreeing he won. Hardy is now 6 wins and 2 losses in his pro MMA career. Thank God the crowd shot the DC. I heard him, so tell me to go check and either figure out a second, so I started trying to check him in Game Changer. Curtis Blades reacted saying, Hardy is wishing he worked more on his southpaw right now. #ouch. Dylan Danis says Greg Hardy about to pull a timeout for an inhaler again, and Aljamain Sterling says Gideon L. Calvin Qatar beat Jeremy Stevens with a TKO in the second round. Uriah Faber reacted saying those Bozak. Aljamain Sterling says these athletes are throwing down tonight. Paul Felder says elbows save lives, and Curtis Blades says Qatar deserves a bonus. Vicious elbow. Francis Ngannou beat Jairzinho Rozenstruik with a knockout just 20 seconds into the first round. Junior Dos Santos reacted saying, man, this guy is lucky because he has a lot of power, because that's just crazy. Dylan Danis says just got to pull guard against Francis. I'll show the world. Anthony Smith says holy crap, Francis is batshit crazy, and Kamaru Usman says he's got a bazooka and most people have a gun. Sheesh, congrats my brother. Henry Cejudo beat Dominic Cruz with a TKO in the second round. After the fight, Henry announced he was quitting MMA since I was 11 years old. I gave up my whole life to get to where I'm at today. I'm not gonna have nobody take that from me, so I'm retiring tonight. Khabib Henry Cejudo, my congratulations. You are the beast. John Jones says somebody's looking for that new contract. No way he's retiring. Aljamain Sterling says I can't tell if he's serious with that speech saying he's retiring. Tomorrow Who's Ben says how can you not love that man and what he's done? Congratulations Henry Cejudo, what a career. Anthony Smith says why don't I believe Henry, and Derek Brunson says hell no, we want more of Henry Cejudo, entertaining and a great competitor. And for the main event, Justin Gaethje beat Tony Ferguson with a TKO in the 5th round. Khabib Nurmagomedov first reacted saying no comment. He followed up with Justin Gaethje. It was so impressive and Nungren's very smart fight. John Jones posted damn beat that man like he broke into the wrong house. Dustin Poirier before the fight posted Gaethje is gonna do it. After the fight he posted I told everyone this was going to happen a month ago. They called me a hater. Kamaru Usman says wow, what a performance by my man Justin Gaethje. Tony Ferguson, you are a real warrior. And Francis Ngannou posted Tony Ferguson his toughest guy man. Nothing but respect. The fight between Jacare Souza and Uriah Hall got cancelled because Jacare tested positive for COVID-19. Uriah Hall reacted on Instagram saying devastation would be an understatement of how I feel. As crazy as these times are, we can't forget that our health is much more important. Thankful that this was caught before it happened. To be honest, I was prepared to die. That's how hard I have trained. Locking myself into a gym, complete isolation, mastering myself and my demons. I broke the news to my mother and the first thing she said was your disappointment is God's appointment, and I didn't know what God was protecting me from. She's happy that she didn't have to read about losing her son. It's so easy to get lost on what we want, forgetting to see what we already have that can't be replaced. Life. I hope my opponent and his family recovers from this. I can't imagine what they are going through. The show goes on. Good luck to the rest of the fighters. Khabib Nurmagomedov's coach, Javier Mendez, says that he still thinks Conor McGregor is the most dangerous threat to Khabib. Javier says that he's still fierce. When speaking to Luke Thomas, he went on to say wise Ferguson and Gaethje cancel each other out when it comes to going with Khabib. They both have Division I wrestling striking. They're different in striking. We worry about elbows with Tony. He's got great elbows and submissions that are tricky, whereas Justin has none. Justin is great with leg kicks. Great leg kicker. Is going to be in your face and he throws decent power, then he's gonna knock you out. He has the intention of knocking. They both have different strikes. That's what I had to say about that. I don't think one's really, in my opinion, that much more dangerous for Khabib than the other, but they're both dangerous. They both have different strengths. The only thing about Tony, in my opinion, you can't break him. You won't break. You will not break. So you're going to be in there 5 rounds with this guy, and if you can't make it 5 rounds, you're going to be in trouble. No, I'm sorry. I think it's still Conor, even though people may disagree with me, but I just know how good Conor is. Conor is the toughest fight to date. Tony's got way better cardio, but Conor was dangerous. Anytime you let Conor unleash any kind of striking, he could knock you out. That's why he was so dangerous to me. You let Conor get in his groove, he would have done some amazing damage if we would have allowed him to, but of course that wasn't going to happen. But I still fear him, I really do. Not that I don't fear them other guys, but I still fear him. I still think he's definitely on the level who can do what. I think he's one of those guys that I would do more homework on. Henry Cejudo, in an interview with MMA Junkie, speaks on if he would fight TJ Dillashaw again. Henry says that he feels dirty just talking about TJ, let alone fighting him. Is that the fight that still do you want to revisit just to cement your legacy, because you've never got a chance to fight him at bantamweight? Or does the suspension change your attitude about pursuing people we'll never know until you cheated on? You know what I'm saying, like it's an honor to fight somebody I don't know. I feel them. I'm assuming like I feel dirty even talking about what I'm saying, like I don't think there's anything in my heart that I even want to fight, that I really don't. We shake hands with somebody, you guys go out to compete like Shano. He's on some stuff you peel. You can't get the same thing that last one was on. Oh yeah. I don't even think that won't ever want to fight that, and I truly think that, he's got to get his mind right. You got to be fair. He's got to go through the line or something. If that's just my honest to God, that's just like what I feel. Earlier this week, I interviewed Chris Cyborg. Cyborg reacts at the UFC putting on events during a pandemic and also speaks on becoming a Grand Slam champion. Grand Slam champion meaning that she held titles in the UFC, Bellator, Strikeforce, and Invicta. I feel very blessed I don't have to fight this time. I can be home and with my family, but it's hard because it's very difficult for make your food cancer, right? Have all your partners string together and everybody together to train, and if you put the danger your family to because of training, you sweat and go back home, and I don't take a risk it. Yeah. I don't know, it's stupid. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have this problem right now. Like how the Grand Slam champ. Yeah, how does it feel to add all that to your resume? How is the beginning my career? I was trained really hard, is very disciplined. Doesn't matter whose champion I was. No, I had to learn, every day. Go to the gym, the learning and different mediator. It's nice because it is something I put every day to work and accomplish. It before the most important titles in MMA, and then very thank to all my fans support me, all my coaches during me, all my Korean, and Michael Bisping on the Believe You Me podcast speaks on Stephen A. Smith, commentating from MMA. Bisping says that Stephen A. is one of the most popular sports broadcasters, so him covering the UFC will elevate the sport even more. But I think it's a good thing. Stephen A. Smith's one of the biggest names in sports broadcasting. He's the man, he's the top of the food chain guy, and for him to be discussing the UFC on ESPN, on SportsCenter, all these types of shows, it's going to elevate the sport even more, and it's going to try and get more people involved, interested, and make lifelong fans of mixed